And as we close out the work week today, you might be thinking maybe about a recent setback in your life. Whether it happened to you professionally or personally, our first guest today says this rough patch doesn't have to lead to hopelessness.
Some of the world's most prominent leaders attribute their setbacks to the reason that they found success. Their lowest moments paved the way for their creative rebirth. But why does this happen?
Well, that is what author and journalist Amy Shoenthal set out to explore in her new USA Today best-selling book, The Setback Cycle. And she joins us now live to share what she's learned. Amy, welcome here. Welcome to Great Day Washington. Thanks for being here.
Having me.
I think when you hit a setback and something bad happens to you, you say it's over. Like your immediate reaction is like, I'm never going to get past this. But that's not the case for many people.
No, but it does feel like that in the moment. When you're in your lowest moments, it feels like you're never going to climb out. But that's actually the beginning of the transformation. So as you said, so many leaders attribute the moment they climbed out of their setback to the thing that actually put them on the path to their most successful venture. And through my work in doing research for the setback cycle, I uncovered the neuroscience behind why this happens and started talking to all kinds of experts who validated that there is in fact a cycle. And so now you have the tools to understand that when you hit that low, you will emerge.
Okay, so the setback cycle you have is a 4-step framework, right? First, you have to establish that you are in a setback. But then what do we do after that?
After that, phase 2 of the setback cycle is embrace. And this is actually one of the most difficult phases because you have to get uncomfortable. And as a society, we've been kind of conditioned to avoid discomfort. But when you really analyze why this happened, what went wrong, what pieces may have been your fault, what pieces may have been out of your control, you can glean the learnings, you can analyze the data, and use that to figure out what your next step is, what your path forward is.
Okay. Accept that. Well, it might be hard. And then where do you go from there? What's that next phase?
It's not easy, but once you have all that information, you can start to move into phase 3, which is explore. This one is actually the most fun phase because this is where you just get to play with what's possible. You get to have a little fun, but you don't have to commit to anything yet, which is why it's maybe so fun. This is where you figure out what your superpowers are. You start to merge your passion with your strength. You lean on your community. You test out new ideas with people you know, people you're connected to. And that phase is really going to give you the clarity you need on what action to take as you enter phase 4, the last phase of the setback cycle, emerge.
All right, so merge is where we take action, but what if maybe some of that action that we take puts us into another setback?
Oh, Kristen.
It happens!
It happens.
The cycle
all
continues.
the time. It happens all the time. Yeah. Hey, trying new things is scary, and you're not going to be perfect at it when you start. But that's the beauty of trying something new. You kind of like step out of your comfort zone and you expand your horizons. And when you do, you're actually going to be so maybe surprised, but also amazed by how capable you are. You know, taking action, especially after working through the setback cycle, it can be really hard. Even if you know what to do, it can be really hard because the whole process is a little energy intensive. And so if you feel exhausted by that point, even if you have the clarity, just take a break, take a pause. Do not barge forward until you're really, really ready. And then once you're finally there, you know, take that first step forward. And that's really going to be your moment to understand your resilience, your creativity, and it's the pathway to innovation.
I sometimes think if we have that setback, it's like your worst fears are being realized. So where do I go from here? Well, it can't go anywhere but up. Is that
Exactly.
Might as well work your way up that way.
Do people say that after a setback? Like the fear's gone because it's happened.
Absolutely. And also, one of the neuroscientists I interviewed said that she was able to prove in her lab that people who have endured more setbacks are better at problem solving and reasoning because they have been through so many, so they know how to recognize them. And they're able to see, okay, I'm on the wrong track, and they can course correct more easily versus people who might not recognize the signs, or those of us who might ignore the signs and just kind of continue to barge forward on that path which isn't serving us anymore.
So much to learn.
I know.
And accept.
Congrats
We have to learn to accept. I know you have so much more tools and tips that we can learn. So you just need to get your own copy of The Setback Cycle to learn more. It's at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.